Hi guys, welcome back to Surviving Infidelity. Today's story is titled, My Fiancé, 29 male, is considering breaking up with me after learning about my 26 female sexual history and I don't know what to do. Before we get into the video guys, just want to remind you of the Patreon link in the description. If you want to check it out for more uncensored videos or content, head down there and we'll get straight into the video guys. I've been together with a man I'll call Mark for 3 years now, and we got engaged just 2 months ago. I love this man so much, and it wasn't long after we started dating that I could see myself being with him forever. And I was so happy when he actually proposed. By now, I feel like everything is falling apart, and I would really like some help and perspective, and it's a sensitive subject I don't really want to discuss with my family. Mark works in tech out on the East Coast where we live, and recently a guy from the Midwest I'll call Ben joined the company. Ben, it turns out, was a guy I had hooked up with once back in college. I had a bit of a wild phase in college. I came from a conservative family in the middle of nowhere, and when I joined a sorority, I kind of got into the party scene. I hooked up with some guys at parties and from Tinder and tried a few things I never thought I'd be into. Nothing too crazy, but not something I would have thought myself doing at an earlier age, but also since then. Honestly, while I had some fun, I also had some very mixed feelings about these days, which is why I wanted to firmly put them behind me when I moved away to join the real world. Well, apparently Ben figured out who I was when he saw a photo of me on Mark's desk. He didn't say anything at the time, but apparently at a holiday party, Ben got drunk and told Mark about me. Not only did he tell him about the hookup, but he also told him about the rest of what he knew of my history since he had slurred. He thought Mark should know. In truth, the story he said was a mixture of truth and lies, since Mark barely knew me at all. I honestly cannot understand why he did such a thing, as we didn't part on a bad note. So I just understand why he would be so cruel as to tell such a private gossip about me to my fiancé of all people. That night, Mark came home and he was simply furious. He first gave me the gist of the conversation and asked me if it was true. I started to tear up right away and said it wasn't all true, but some parts were. Mark calmed down a little bit, but asked me some specific questions. One of the questions was the number of guys I had been with, and I said it was over 30. He seemed so shocked, but I pointed out that I had never lied. He never asked me. No, that's true. He had also asked me if I'd done it in the back, we'll say. Because I don't know if I can say the word, but the back door, basically. Which I said I had. At that point, he straight up called me a liar since we had been talking about trying it before, and I said I wasn't comfortable. But that is the truth. I did it a few times in college, but it felt a bit degrading, which is not how I wanted to feel with a person I loved. At the end, Mark packed up some belongings and moved into a rental property he owns that is currently unoccupied. He said he wasn't calling off the marriage right then, but needed some space to think. I'm so sad and lost. I was never dishonest or deceitful with Mark and had been completely loyal. He is the person I want to be with, and I'm fully committed to making our relationship be a happy one for the rest of our lives. But when he left, while he was polite, I could see so much disdain in his eyes. I feel both sad, but also confused and a bit angry. I tried so hard to be a good partner, and now I feel like he is throwing all of that away and judging me for a phase of my life that happened before he even knew I existed. How should I go forward? Above everything, I really don't want to lose Mark, but I just don't really know what to do or say at this point. And I am even confused about my own feelings about the situation, since I feel a sense of guilt, but don't really think I did anything wrong. Okay, so one thing, I feel like they both should sit down and tell each other their past, because we don't know nothing about his past. What if he's done stuff too? What if he's been with so many people we don't know? First of all, that's just the get-go, in my opinion. If that comes up, I feel like everything should be laid out on the table. Second of all, it is like a hard thing, in my opinion, because like I know people like don't like when normally girls have a higher body count, which I feel is a bit, because men can have a high body count normally in today's society, but like, you know what I mean. And I know that could be a preference of someone, blah, 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 blah. But it can also be like a bit weird that the past is now affecting the future of somebody's life and somebody's relationship, if that makes sense. Another thing is, if you've never asked about these things, I don't feel like it's, unless it's been brought up or if it's been talked about already, how is she meant to just be like, oh, by the way, I was crazy in college and I had a phase of like sleeping with people. You know what I mean? Him going away and like having space is probably a good thing, because obviously he's feeling a lot of things right now. Has he also told her of his past? Because from the story we don't know. She never mentioned it. But I think they should sit down, talk about it, and not use something in the past as a decider for the future. But like, I know it's different because everyone, like, it's different for everyone. That's another thing. But I just talk. Talking is the key. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. Don't forget about the Patreon link in the description if you want to check that out. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in another video, guys. Bye.